Welcome to Winter Holder Field here on a Saturday afternoon. The rain has gotten out of here and sunny skies are overhead as we get ready for game number 7 of the 2019 Crossroads League Tournament. It features the 8-seed Grace Lancers after upsetting the number 1 seed Huntington yesterday. They take on the 5-seed Taylor, who are playing on their home field for another consecutive year of the Crossroads League Tournament, after they knocked off number 4 seed Indiana Wesleyan here in our final game of day number 1. The Marion General Hospital starting pitcher for the Trojans is number 21, Luke Carlson. He's a 6'4 freshman lefty out of Greenville, Illinois, a 3-2 overall record for the young fella who's added 30 pounds to his frame since the fall, went from 185 up to a rock-solid 215. A 2.70 ERA, 29 strikeouts to 23 walks, with opponents batting 190 against him this season. He is making his 7th start of his freshman campaign. David Anderson, the center fielder, will lead it off for Grace. He'll be followed by Sam Newkirk, the second baseman, and Xavier Harris, the right fielder, here in the top half of the first inning. Grace 15-25 after the win yesterday over 1-seed Huntington in 10 innings. Carlson's first pitch misses low for ball number 1 as we're underway at 5:16 Eastern Standard Time. Second one is in there for a strike to make it 1-1 to Anderson. Taylor, the home team on the scoreboard, but on the first base side dugout here this afternoon. Anderson will line this one opposite way, and it goes foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the leadoff man, Anderson. 5'10 junior out of Mars, Pennsylvania, was great yesterday against Huntington, going 3 for 4 with a double, a run scored, and a walk. He's down in the count here as he leads the game off. 1-2 breaking ball, slapper to the right side. Rusci dives. He gets back to his feet off of a knee and over to Taggart at first for 1 out. Another sliding stop from the stellar Nick Rusci at first base. And there's the first man retired here in this first inning. The defense behind Carlson today, TJ Bass is in left after DHing last night. Wyatt Whitman moves over from left to his normal fielding position this season. He is in center. And Christian McGill is over in right field. Here, this one sent Bass's way in left. A couple steps to his left. He comes forward, makes the catch over his left shoulder. And there is quickly 2 gone here in the top of the first. Taylor swept the season series against the Lancers. That series was probably about 20 degrees colder over the spring break for the Trojans here in Upland, Indiana, as Taylor put up 40 runs in that 3-game set. 2 gone, nobody on for the right fielder Xavier Harris, and Carlson's fastball in the inside half called for a strike. Home plate umpire here in our contest is Jeremy Hosier. The field umpire is Bob Rocklow on the third base side, and Kyle George is on the first base side. Second one to Harris low, makes it 1-1. Harris, a 6'3 junior out of Mount Gilead, Ohio. 1-1, going opposite way with it, but that one will slice out of here foul, and a nice catch by Carter Stump, the reserve pitcher, as he's walking in from the Taylor bullpen. 1 ball, 2 strikes as Carlson looks for a 1-2-3 top of the first. Second game of the winner's bracket here today. Marion won the game before us, defeating Goshen 3-1, and a swing and a miss by Harris, and that's a 1-2-3 top of the first, capped off by Carlson's first strikeout of the day. The Trojans come up to bat after this here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Greek's Pizzeria in Upland opened its doors in December of 2017. Over the years, there have been more than 140 Greeks opened across the country, with 24 Indiana locations. When it comes to pizza, Greeks offers customers the option to create their own pizza or to try one of Greek's specialized pizzas. Greeks uses fresh, homemade, hand-tossed dough, Greek's Italian sauce, select blended cheeses, gourmet toppings, and the same method of preparation since the first restaurant opened in 1969. The kitchen can also whip up a sandwich served on fresh French-style bread, or it can put that sandwich into a pizza shell wrap. Customers can also add breadsticks or French-style bread as a side item. Greeks also offers a selection of salads and assorted dressings as well. Greeks is located just off Main Street in Upland and is a proud supporter of Taylor University Athletics. Greek's Pizzeria. It's our taste.
No score as Taylor comes up to bat for the first time today. They are 36-16 here in 2019. Tied for 4th in the Crossroads League with Indiana Wesleyan, the team that they defeated last night. But resulted up being the 5 seed after the tiebreaker, with IU taking the season series. Josh Lane leads it off for the Trojans, and Logan Swartzentruber, the lefty out of Dalton, Ohio, deals in a curveball for strike one in the bottom of the first, is underway. Swartzentruber, an 0-5 overall record, an 8.90 ERA. He's allowed 40 runs in his 10 appearances this season. Before this one, he makes his 8th start here of 2019. And the lefty misses away for the second one. It's ball one. Josh last night 0 for 4, reaching on an error and scoring the Trojans' first run last night, as TU scored 4 runs in the top half of that first inning. Lane will groove one to center. That's where David Anderson plays. Sunglasses down, he comes forward to make the catch, and a fly out to center is how the bottom of the first will start here for TU. Following Lane will be Nick Ruschi, who led it off for Taylor last night, so he and Lane flip-flop spots in the Taylor batting order. And then we'll go Ruschi, followed by Bass, Taggart, Whitman, Lawson, Kennedy, today's DH, Cowball, and McGill. Swartzentruber's curveball missing away from the lefty Ruschi for a ball. Nick, the only lefty in the Trojan order here tonight, or today I should say, was 0 for 5 with a strikeout in last night's win over IU. Second one, inside, and Swartzentruber hits the inside half to make it 1-1. Nick dropped down to the second best batting average for the Trojans, switching spots with his on-deck man and Bass. Nick now batting .301 as a freshman with a team best 50 hits. Curveball left upstairs by Swartzentruber. The count now 2-1 in the favor of Ruschi. No score here in the bottom of the first. Ruschi during the regular season went 4 for 10 in the series against Grace. Fourth one, curveball back to the inside corner. Ruschi tried to make that strike zone a little bit smaller as he squatted down slightly. The only 2 strikes have been called here against Ruschi, and both have been on curveballs on the inner half. Bases clear, 1 out in the bottom of the first in a lefty-on-lefty matchup. Swartzentruber delivers, and this will be slapped the opposite way. This is going to be trouble for Grace, and be extra bases for Ruschi. Playing way in was R.J. Snyder, the left fielder. Ruschi's batting helmet gone as he rounds second base. And a 1-out double as Ruschi goes opposite way for his first hit here at the Crossroads League Tournament, and that's the Trojans' first extra base hit here of tournament play as well. Snyder playing way in on that left field foul line. Wind blows in from right center field, and Ruschi goes opposite way and drops it in beautifully. It rolled all the way to the track, and Ruschi's speed easily gets him in there at second standing up. And here's the left fielder, TJ Bass, who was last night's DH for TU. Swartzentruber out of the stretch. An off-speed one low for ball one to Bass. The defense behind Swartzentruber today, we've already met a couple of his teammates. R.J. Snyder in left, we've seen him. David Anderson, we've seen him in center. Xavier Harris is the right fielder. Mitchell Enyart is the third baseman. Ethan Brooks is at short. Sam Newkirk is at second. And Chris Griffin is at first. The second one to Bass is pulled foul, 1-1. The catcher is Jacob Sapp. He wears number 8, but is donning a hoodie that sticks out of the top of his uniform and through his chest protector as well. Temperature 56 degrees with just a little bit of wind, but you got to do what you got to do to stay warm out here. 1-1. Curveball inside from the lefty Swartzentruber, and the righty Bass will take it for ball 2. TJ 6'2", 230 pounds. So 56 degrees probably feels quite comfortable to the freshman from Greenwood, Indiana. His classmate Ruschi stands at second after a 1-out double. And Bass will sky this one to the outfield. Going back is the shortstop Brooks in the short outfield grass. He reaches up to make the catch for out number 2, and Ruschi remains situated over there at second base. Batting now will be the first baseman, Nathan Taggart. 2 outs. Rushi at second after the 1-out double in the scoreless bottom of the first. Hard hit left side. Unable to make the play as it bounces between 2 defenders. Rushi running on contact. The throw from Snyder won't matter as Rushi scores standing up. His batting helmet will again fall off with his hair now shorter than it's been throughout most of the regular season. And Taggart on here and drives in Taylor's first run. It's a 1-out. It's a 1-0. Taylor advantage on the first hit of the afternoon for Taggart. Now 3 away from tying the career hits mark. A slow little bouncer. Unable to make the play was Enyart, the third baseman. It bounced away from him, and then Brooks, the second baseman, or the shortstop, I should say, had it tick off of his glove. Here's Wyatt Whitman, the center fielder. First pitch low, covered by Sapp, ball 1. So Taggart now 2 hits here in the Crossroads League Tournament. Whitman, the batter now, 1 for 3. Drove in a run and scored a run last night as well, and also was a key cog in the go-ahead 7th inning for Taylor an evening ago. Fastball from Schwartzentruber nicks the outside corner. It's 1-1 to the righty Whitman. Bass reached on an error last night in the 7th to lead it off, and then Taggart singled. And then Whitman bunted them over to second and third, and then they were driven in to give Taylor a 6-4 lead in the 7th. Schwartzentruber drops in a curveball right at the top of the letters. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. 1 run in for TU on the RBI single from Nathan Taggart. Schwartzentruber delivers the 1-2. Whitman protects and fouls it off the end of the bat. That one catches the net to our right. Another excellent crowd here on a Saturday afternoon, as we had a big crowd here last night for Taylor and Indiana Wesleyan. No surprise there with the 2 teams separated by about 20 minutes or so, depending on your traffic going through the metropolis that is Gas City, Indiana. But a lot of folks rocking the purple today, filling up the stands down below us. Another 1-2 inside, avoids hitting Whitman's left elbow. And he casually backs out of the way, and the count now sits at 2-2. The winner of this game gets Marion Monday at 4 o'clock with a chance to move right on to the championship game on Tuesday evening. 2-2 from Schwartzentruber. The lefty misses way away. His breaking ball didn't bite. And Whitman's battled it back to a 3-2 count. Taggart's got that safe lead at first after driving in Rushi with a 2-out RBI single. Taylor on top, 1-0. Schwartzentruber delivers, runner goes. Whitman grounds it left side. Brooks slides, he'll whip it on to first. And reaching and making the play is Griffin for out number 3. But the RBI single by Taggart gives Taylor the first run of the day, and after 1, it's Taylor 1 and Grace nothing. This is the 2019 Crossroads League Tournament here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Since opening in the late 1980s, the Maddox Family Dental Center has been focusing on providing the highest quality dental care for their patients. Children to adults can receive a full-service treatment to meet their dental needs. The Maddox Family Dental Center has 2 locations in Hartford City and Dunkirk and always welcomes new patients. The Maddox Family Dental Center, a proud corporate partner of Taylor University Athletics.
New score is 1-0 TU after 1. Lefty versus lefty as Chris Griffin bounces it to the right side. Rushi charges at second and on to first. And the Trojans have retired the best batter in the Grace order as he grounds out on the first one here. Following him will be Mitchell Enyart, the third baseman. Here's Enyart, the third baseman. And Carlson's fastball right down Main Street for a strike. 1-0 Taylor advantage. as they actually were outscored 3-2 in the first inning in the regular season series with Grace. The Trojans trailed before ultimately winning the first game of the series, trailed 3-0 and 4-3 before jumping on the Lancers, and then really kicked things into high gear in games 2 and 3 of the series. The second pitch to Enyart's outside the zone. The third one is a swing and a miss. And Enyart, the third baseman, down 1-2 in the count. Yesterday, 2 for 4 with an RBI. Fouls this one back to the net, and it remains 1-2. A crazy day yesterday for Grace. They gave Huntington the top seed in this tournament all they could handle before ultimately winning on a squeeze bunt in the bottom of the 10th inning. 1-2 to Enyart. Curveball, he'll hit it to the left side. There's his counterpart, Lawson at third. Scoops, fires on the run, and there's quickly 2 outs here in the second inning. As again, Brett Lawson makes difficult plays look relatively easy. 2 gone for the shortstop, Ethan Brooks. Grace in the all-black uniforms and pants this afternoon with the white letters on the front spelling out Lancers in script. The numbers on the back in white as well, both numbers and letters trimmed in red. The Trojans wearing their home white uniforms today, gold numbers and gold letters with Taylor in script on the front in gold. Ground ball to Lane at short, into the stomach, Fields and on to first. And there's the second 1-2-3 inning here of the day. 6 up and 6 down. Taylor leads 1-0 over Grace after 1.5 here on the Trojans Sports Network.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Leading off the bottom of the second for Taylor will be their third baseman, Brett Lawson, who had the most success against Grace pitching during the regular season. And Brett also had some success last night against Indiana Wesleyan. He bats out of the 6th spot here today against GC. The lefty Schwartzentruber out of Dalton, Ohio, comes inside with a curveball, ball 1. Brett last night 1 for 2 with an RBI, a walk, was also hit by a pitch and made a real slick play, sliding and then getting back to his feet as normal third base position. Second one, back to the breaking ball goes Schwartzentruber, and this one will find the zone on the inside half to make it even at 1-1. Brett batting .286 this season, a team best 14 doubles coming into the day, now one back of Rusci, who has 15. Brett swings and misses at another breaking ball here, this one lower, and he falls behind 1-2. Brett, the DH, Andrew Kennedy, and then Ben Calbaugh, 6, 7, and 8, due up for Taylor here in the bottom of the second as they lead Grace 1-0. Schwartzentruber, the lefty, out of the stretch. Here's the pitch. And this will be slapped to the left side. Charging is the third baseman, Enyart, over to first, and a low catch made by Griffin for out number 1. Andrew Kennedy, the DH, will bat here. He did not play last night against Indiana Wesleyan. Junior out of Goshen, Indiana, 6'2", 215-pound right-handed bat. Bases clear. Good backdoor breaking ball from Schwartzentruber will nick the outside corner, strike 1. 2 hits for Taylor, both in the bottom of the first to lead 1-0. Second one, and Kennedy will sky this one into the air. Coming is the left fielder Snyder. He screams everybody away, and then screaming louder will be the center fielder Anderson, and then everyone gets away from him. And a fly out to center brings out number 2 on the board here for the Trojans in the bottom of the second, still ahead 1-0. It'll be the catcher Ben Countball trying to get going here. Ben 0 for 3 last night against Indiana Wesleyan, but loves seeing Grace pitching during the regular season. Inside at the belt, taken for a strike the whole way on an off-speed delivery from Schwartzentruber. Bet against Grace in the regular season, 6 for 12 with a double and 4 driven in for the freshman from Fort Lauderdale. Second one, checks his swing, and they appeal. Kyle George, the first base umpire, says nope. And the count levels itself at 1-1. Schwartzentruber leans in the third one to Cowball. Too far in and too far low. And Ben goes ahead 2-1. Schwartzentruber did not pitch against Taylor in the regular season. Opponents during the regular season batted .338 against the lefty. Cowball sits on one, pulls it to the left, but too far foul, and the count evens at 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the second with nobody on. The lefty Schwartzentruber out of the stretch, backdoor curveball, and it's ball 3 as that one bounces out of the glove of Sapp. Taylor could really love to get a runner on here with 2 outs. With McGill, the top run producer last night for the Trojans, waiting on deck. The payoff pitch to Cowball from Schwartzentruber is ripped into left for a 2-out single. A breaking ball that Cowball sat back on and drove it to left. And the bottom of the second continues thanks to Taylor's 3rd hit of the afternoon. The runner comes in for Cowball, the catcher. That will be Kyle Kelsheimer. Here's the number 9 batter, Christian McGill. Just 1 for 3 last night, but McGill drove in 3 of the Trojans' 6 runs an evening ago. Schwartzentruber to the lefty looks right at the professional base runner that is Kyle Kelsheimer. He dances big off of first, and Schwartzentruber's off-speed pitch belt high to the outside corner. And there's a strike to the righty McGill. Christian with a 2 RBI single to cap off the 4-run bottom or top of the first for Taylor last night. His sac fly capped the scoring for Taylor in the 7th when they took a 6-4 lead. Back to the off-speed pitch, Schwartzentruber. Now it's 0-2 to number 2, Christian McGill. McGill batting .278 this season, with now 18 runs batted in after the trifecta he drove in last night. Kelsheimer at first. Now he heads down to second. Ball at the plate. Nope, they're going to call for a freezing strikeout to McGill. And we head to the top half of the 3rd inning with our score remaining, Taylor 1 and Grace 0, here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Your heart? Well, your heart is everything to you and your body. And its favorite place to be is home. Marion General Hospital has been named a nationally accredited chest pain center, which is the highest accomplishment in cardiovascular care. We are proud to provide our community with a team of cardiac experts throughout MGH. From our ambulance and emergency room to our cardiovascular departments in partnership with our experienced local cardiologists and interventional cardiologists from St. Vincent's Medical Group. The same level of cardiovascular expertise in bigger cities at larger hospitals is available right here. Everyone has their expertise. At MGH, our expertise is your heart, bringing the best in the nation home to you. Your heart is in the right place at MGH.
1-0 Taylor lead as Grace bats here at the top of the third, and the man that saved the day for Grace yesterday, Houston Haney, will lead it off for the Lancers here in the third. And the lefty Carlson deals the righty D.H. Haney a strike on the first one. This one a curveball to the inside we go for 0-2. Haney had one hit yesterday for Grace, and it was a solo home run that tied the game at 4 in the 8th. And Grace would eventually win in 10 yesterday, 5-4. Haney dribbles one left side at will, bounce foul as it rolls to the left on the third base line. Haney, Sapp, and Snyder, the bottom third of the Grace order up here in the top half of the third inning as they trail Taylor by 1. A double by Ruschi in the first and a single by Taggart drives in Ruschi with 2 outs in that first inning for the Trojans. Haney steps in a .298 average, a Crossroads League honorable mention selection a year ago. Another 0-2, and Haney down on strikes. There's the second strikeout of the day for Carlson, and there's one gone here in the third as Haney gives a quick scouting report to the catcher, Jacob Sapp. Sapp, the 6-foot freshman catcher out of Imperial, California. Carlson away on ball 1. The Trojans will move Basson a little bit in left. Same thing for the right fielder, McGill. Carlson fastball to the inside corner. Now 1-1. Sapp was great yesterday, 3 for 4 with an RBI. And the third pitch is in there for a strike as well. Ball 1 on the first one. And the back-to-back strikes make the count 1-2 to the 6-foot Sapp, who drove in a run yesterday for Grace. Curveball missing upstairs is Carlson as he grits his teeth. And the count squares 2-2. Wind blows in from right center field as Carlson shakes off the first pitch. Now the second one will come home, and Sapp stays alive, chopping it to the left and foul. More and more Taylor fans continue to fill up the bleachers down to our left. There's a whole slew of folks down that first base line on bleachers down there to our right, as the facilities crew here at CU have installed extra bleachers for the league tournament. Carlson's fastball in will freeze Sapp on a delayed strike 3 call. And Carlson with back-to-back Ks. He's got 3 on the afternoon, and there are 2 gone for Grace here in the third, down 1. Low and in, it looked like it was going to be ball 3. Instead, it's called for strike 3. And that brings up the left fielder, R.J. Snyder. Foul tips this one for a strike. Snyder wears number 1 today, 5'7" sophomore out of Hanna, Indiana. Was 0 for 4 yesterday. Trying to bunt his way on here. It bounces back to the backstop. It'll be a foul ball, now 0-2. The 0-2. Carlson out of the windup. This one popped into the air to right. McGill racing in. Ruschi's there. Nick calls everybody off, and the freshman second baseman will make the grab. And it's another 3-up, 3-down inning. We head to the bottom of the third inning. Taylor on top, 1-0 over Grace here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Ivanhoe's has been serving Taylor students since 1965, when Ivan and Carol Slane purchased the restaurant. Located on Main Street, Ivanhoe's is less than a mile from the Taylor campus and is open 7 days a week. The menu features choices for lunch, dinner, as well as 100 different milkshakes and sundaes. Customers can find other dessert items as well. The staff is proud to support Taylor University and appreciates the support of Ivanhoe's through the years.
Back to the top of the order we go for Taylor. Lane, Ruschi, and Bass, with the Trojans on top 3-0 as they bat here in the bottom of the third. Third game of the day, game 7 of the tournament. Second game out of the winner's bracket here this afternoon. Lane will send this one to left field. Playing in is Snyder. It's going to get over his head for a leadoff home run. Here to start things off in the bottom of the third. And the Taylor dugout to our right explodes onto the field as Josh Lane blasts his 4th career home run. All coming here in his senior season. And Taylor jumps out to a 2-0 lead as Lane tattoos one over the left field fence. As someone apparently down there turns to Josh Lane's father and asks what type of weight program their oldest son is on. Whatever he's doing is working. That's now 4 home runs for the senior after having none coming into the year. And here's Nick Ruschi, who doubled his first time up and scored Taylor's first run of the day. Bouncing this one in is Schwartzentruber, and it's now 1-1. Two 2-0 Taylor lead after the solo blast by Josh Lane. Ruschi bouncing this one up the middle, unable to get it on the diving try is Newkirk. Ruschi now 2 for 2 as he saw that giant gap in right center field with Anderson shading over to the left. As they saw Ruschi go opposite way his first time up for a double. This one, he's able to pull it up the middle. And Taylor, with nobody out, has got a man on at first, now leading 2-0 after the Lane homer. Bass popped down his first time up to the shortstop, Brooks. A 2-0 Taylor lead here in the bottom of the third. The sun coming out for the first time, it feels like, all day. A ball to Bass from Schwartzentruber, the lefty. That's just the second home run that Schwartzentruber has allowed this season. Second one to Bass. Big swing and misses one low. Then Sapp will usher him out of the way. 1-1. A ball and a strike, nobody out. Ruschi at first after the single, and following the Lane home run that got this bottom of the third rolling. Schwartzentruber tosses to first to check on Ruschi, who's 11 for 14 on stolen base tries this season. That's the second most swipes by a Taylor player here in 2019. Rain earlier today, missed last night for the Trojans game against Iwu as Bass backs out of the way 2-1. But beautiful sunshine here, some clouds overhead, but the sun is peeked out as it sets off to our left. Fourth one to Bass. A curveball that he will send high to left field. Coming in and going back is Anderson. He's underneath on the warning track and makes the play as Ruschi, who is almost to second base, will easily jog back to first. And there's the first out here in this bottom half of the third inning as Bass tried to drive one out of here just like Lane did to start the inning off. That brings up Taggart. Now 3 hits away from tying the career hits mark, 4 from breaking it, thanks to that RBI single his first time up. The lefty Schwartzentruber kicks out of the stretch. His curveball will loop away, ball number 1. Taggart 1 for 5 with an RBI. Did not play against Grace back earlier in the season. Was still recovering from an injury at that point. Second one from Schwartzentruber hits the outside corner. Curveball makes it 1-1. Taggart missed a month of the season. That included the 3-game set with Grace. That was right before he came back about a week or two later. Over to first again. Ruschi will just step back calmly. He's at first with 1 out as Nick Ruschi after the Lane solo home run. They got the bottom of the third. Rocking and rolling here with Taylor now on top 2-0. Third one, curveball, hits the belt of Taggart's. Belt high, I should say. Now it's 1-2. Taylor outscored Grace 34-10. in the regular season series, and they lead 2-0 here. Ruschi heads down to second. Hit and run is on as this one's golfed into right field. Right to the right fielder, Harris. He'll make the catch and throw into first. Ruschi's got to hustle back in, dives in, and Ruschi will get doubled up over there at first. A good double play as the Trojans fly out to Harris and right. Ruschi almost all the way at second, couldn't get back in time. 9-3 on the double play to double up Ruschi. But the solo home run from Lane gives Taylor a 2-0 lead after 3 here on the Trojans Sports Network.
It's true. Many of us spend more time thinking about what's for dinner than thinking about retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, we agree, and we'd like to help. Your local Edward Jones financial advisors, Ryan Jones, Mark Sieglin, and Rob Sisson, can help you get started today. They are proud corporate partners of Taylor University Athletics. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Second time through the order here for the Trojans. Starter Luke Carlson, Anderson, Newkirk, and Harris, the top 3 in their order. 2-0 Taylor lead after the Lane home run a half inning ago, and Carlson comes right inside to the righty Anderson. Ball 1 on the hands. Second one, ripped into left, and there's the first base runner of the day, snapping the no-hitter in the perfect game for Carlson as he retired the first 9 men he faced here today. A leadoff single by Anderson. Good way to start for the top of the 4th here for Grace. And the batter now will be the second baseman, Newkirk, who flew out to Bass and left his first time at the dish today. First time Carlson's out of the stretch here this afternoon. The lefty will loop in that big breaking curveball for a called strike. One of Carlson's best pitches that he's got, that hammer curveball with the high arc. And now time is called as Carlson sends it over to first. As we mentioned, Luke added 30 pounds to his frame since the fall, came in at 185, now tips the scales at 215, and you can really see the difference, particularly after he came back from Christmas break. This one hard hit, but pulled foul to the left. 0-2 now. As the Grace dugout stuck their heads out, trying to will that one into fair territory. The coaching staff has described Carlson as good of a freshman pitcher as you'll see in the Crossroads League. He's got a high ceiling for the next 3 years here for TU. 0-2, off the end of the bat to right field. McGill easily moving to his right. Brady makes the catch for the first out here in the top half of the 4th. Still a 2-0 Taylor lead, but the first hit of the day is already in there for Grace. As Anderson led the inning off with a single, he stands at first. And out for Harris, the tall right fielder, 6'3", out of Mount Gilead, Ohio. Stands almost straight up and down, runner heads down, swing and a miss here at home. Calball fires it in, and unable to make the backup will be the Trojans. It rolls into center, but not far enough to let Anderson give it a go at third. Good backup by Whitman, the center fielder, as that the throw bounced away from first Ruschi covering the bag, and then the shortstop Lane, who was backing it up. The strike on a swing and a miss to Harris here at the plate. Stolen base for Anderson. That's his 4th of the season for last year's All Crossroads League honorable mention selection. So a runner in scoring position for the first time today here for Grace. They trail 2-0. Harris will foul tip the second one back as Carlson tried to jam him on a curveball inside. Harris missed all of the 2018 season due to an injury. His last season before this one in 2017 as a sophomore, 11 home runs and 31 driven in. This year, no home runs, but has driven in 20 In the 40 games he's played entering today, he also drove in 2 yesterday in the win over Huntington. He's down 0-2 here, and he'll go back to the dugout for a second time as he swings and misses for the second at-bat in a row. 4th K for Carlson, as the Trojans had 16 as a staff last night. They'll try to get out of the inning here with no damage done, as they'll have to retire the best batter in the order here for Grace and Chris Griffin. Griffin, the only lefty here for Grace on the afternoon, as Taylor shifts back to the normal defensive positions. Inside curveball, Carlson missing ball number 1. Griffin only saw 1 pitch his first time up. He grounded out to Rushi at second. That was when he led things off in that 4th inning. And then Griffin steps out of the box. Griffin 0 for 4 yesterday with a walk against Huntington. .345 the average, 7 doubles, 5 triples, and 5 home runs, slugging .621 is the freshman from Edwardsburg, Michigan. Open lefty stance, waggles that bat just off the left side of his helmet. Carlson comes home, inside, almost landed in the grill, in the teeth of Griffin. And the big fella backs away, it's 2-0. Two balls, no strikes. 2 outs and a runner at second base here for Grace, trailing 2-0 in the 4th. Pitch home. Down the middle, below the knees, however. Oh, let's get it right at the knees for a strike. A delayed call from our home plate umpire, Jeremy Hosier. But no matter, he could call it tomorrow and still be a strike because he's the boss. 2 outs, a runner at second. The 2-1. Griffin pulls it. That one sails out of here foul. And the count evens up at 2-2. Packed grandstands down below us. Had a packed crowd last night for the Taylor Indiana Wesleyan game, and packed stands here again for Taylor and Grace. The winner gets Marion Monday at 4. The loser will get the winner of tonight's game at 1 o'clock on Monday. That is the winner between Huntington and Indiana Wesleyan. We've already had 1 team eliminated from the tournament. That was Mount Vernon Nazarene, the 2 seed. 2 and out here in 2019. 2-2 to Griffin. Curveball. And Lane was jogging in thinking it was strike 3 on the big looping curveball from Carlson, missing the inside corner, and the count has gone full to the lefty Griffin. Anderson stands at second after a leadoff single and a stolen base. 2 outs here in the 4th. And Grace batting down 2-0. Payoff from Carlson. Griffin, ground ball to Rushi at second. He waits for it to come to him, vacuums it up, and over to first. And the runner left stranded at second base. We're through 3.5, and Taylor leads Grace 2-0 on the Trojan Sports Network.
Ivanhoe's has been serving Taylor students since 1965, when Ivan and Carol Slane purchased the restaurant. Located on Main Street, Ivanhoe's is less than a mile from the Taylor campus and is open 7 days a week. The menu features choices for lunch, dinner, as well as 100 different milkshakes and sundaes. Customers can find other dessert items as well. The staff is proud to support Taylor University and appreciates the support of Ivanhoe's through the years.
Ashton Whitman's older brother Wyatt will lead things off for Taylor here in the bottom of the 4th. He'll be followed by Brett Lawson and Andrew Kennedy. We mentioned Ashton because she and her Taylor softball teammates are on to the national tournament. Due to some heavy rain down in Indianapolis, they have canceled the rest of the Crossroads League Baseball Tournament with Taylor's 2-0 win over Indiana Wesleyan yesterday. They were set to face Marion today as the only 2 undefeated teams left in that tournament. And with Marion already winning the regular season title on an undefeated regular season, Whitman will send this one to center. Going back as Anderson still going back. Those yellow sunglasses down. He skips into the air and makes an easy catch for out number 1. But since Taylor was the only team left standing, they get the second automatic bid out of the Crossroads League, and the Trojans back in the national tournament for the second time in 3 years and 3 times in the last 6. One out on Whitman's fly out to center. The softball team for Taylor will find out, along with the rest of the country, where the rest of the national tournament qualifiers are on Tuesday. Schwarzentrooper deals in a curveball that Lawson takes for a strike, 0-1. 2-0 Taylor lead as they bat here in the bottom of the 4th on the back of 5 hits, an RBI single from Taggart, and a solo homer for Lane in the 3rd. Lawson swings and misses at a curveball here, dropping him to 0-2. Brett grounded out to his counterpart Mitchell Enyard at 3rd to lead things off in the 2nd inning for Taylor against GC. Taylor in the home whites, Grace in the road blacks here on a Saturday afternoon. Brett, the best batter against Grace in the regular season, going 7 for 11. Foul tips this one to the left to stay alive. That 7 for 11 gives you a .636 average, a slugging percentage of a perfect 1,000, as Brett had 4 doubles and drove in 7 in the 3-game set against Grace. Another 0-2. Off the end of the bat, this one down the right field line. Playing in was Harris, and thankfully for him, it'll land a foul outside of that right field foul line. If not, Lawson could be looking at extra bases. Instead, he will jog back to the plate and awaits another pitch from Logan Schwarzentrooper. Bases empty, 1 out in the 4th, with Andrew Kennedy, the DH for Taylor, standing on deck. Brett steps back in, the 5'11 junior out of Florida. Down to the count, 0-2. He's fouled off the last 2 he's seen. And this one he watches bounce in, covered and blocked by Sapp. Makes the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Taylor as a team in that 3-game series with Grace, as we mentioned, they scored 34 runs. As a team, they batted .404 with 10 doubles and 2 triples. The 1-2 from Schwarzentrooper. He gets Lawson to swing and miss for the strikeout. First one of the afternoon, or second one of the afternoon for Schwarzentrooper, and there are 2 outs for Taylor here in the 4th as they try to avoid their first 1-2-3 inning here of the afternoon. And the task to extend this 4th inning will be the DH Andrew Kennedy's. Schwarzentrooper comes inside, bouncing that one in near the feet of Andrew Kennedy. Ball 1. Ben Calbaugh, the Taylor catcher, stands on deck. If Kennedy can get on here in the bottom of the 4th as the sun sets to our left, comes out from behind the clouds. Another off-speed one from Schwarzentrooper is low again, 2-0 to Kennedy, 6 and white. The next pitch for Schwarzentrooper will be his 60th. 2 gone, nobody on here in the 4th. 3rd game of the day, 7th game of the 2019 tournament. Chopping this one to the left is Kennedy for strike 1 on a foul ball. The nightcap game tonight. 2 of the top teams in the Crossroads League. Huntington, the top seed, and Indiana Wesleyan, the 4 seed. That game should get going around 7 o'clock, maybe 7:30 or so. Should be a fun one here to round out day number 2. The 2-1 to Kennedy. Taking it low again, now 3-1. Day off tomorrow with Sunday. Then we're right back at it with 4 games on Monday. 10, 1, 4, and 7. You know the schedule. Same thing for the first 3 days. Then we play all of our games at night on Tuesday and potentially Wednesday. The 3-1 lifted into the air, foul territory. Griffin, the first baseman, finding it and catching it as Kennedy pops out on a 3-1 pitch. First 1-2-3 inning by Taylor here on the afternoon. 4 complete innings in the books. And it's the Trojans 2 and Grace nothing here on the Trojans Sports Network. The Taylor University campus store, with their innovative textbook butler delivery service and name brand Taylor apparel and gifts, supports the Trojans year-round. The campus store, powered by Tree of Life Books, is a proud corporate partner of TU Athletics. It's easy to find something to show off someone's TU pride with 2 campus locations, one in the Dome and one in the campus center near the food court. The store is also open 24/7 at TaylorCampusStore.com. Four complete innings. Taylor on top 2-0 as the third baseman Mitchell Enyart will swing and miss at the first one from Carlson, who has been locked in and rocking and rolling here so far. He's allowed just one hit, was perfect through the first 3 innings. And Enyart swings and misses at the first one here. Enyart, Brooks, and Haney. And Carlson's fastball, knee-high in the inside corner. Let's make it 0-2. Remember, last night the Trojans combined for 16 strikeouts, with Hubler and Pettit going the last 3 innings, no hits, no runs against Iwu. Curveball and down on strikes, swinging is Enyart. Carlson with his 5th K and a perfect way to start things off here in the 5th. And last night for Taylor, it was Luke Shively, who was no slouch as well. He was the starter. He went 3 1/3, gave up 4 runs, but did strike out 7 of the 16 batters. And let's make it 4 strikes to start this top of the 5th off. Called on the outside corner to Brooks, the shortstop. Brooks 0 for 1, grounding out to his shortstop counterpart Lane. Carlson inside, this one missing for a ball on a looping curve. Grace yesterday, 11 hits against Huntington pitching, 1-1. Line to the opposite way, foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and Grace did that against 2 of the better pitchers for Huntington yesterday. DJ Moore, who started the game, and then Mason Shinneberry, who came in late before Grace walked them off with that squeeze bunt in the bottom of the 10th. 1-2, curveball, dribble to the left side. Lawson charges. Fields whips it on the run, and Taggart will snag it for out number 2. Another effortless play from Lawson at third. 2 gone here in the 5th for Houston Haney, the DH, whose 3rd home run of the season yesterday tied the game at 4, as it looked like Huntington was getting ready to slam the door shut there in the bottom of the 8th, but Haney had other ideas. Carlson's curveball will paint the outside corner, strike 1 to the 6'3 righty. Haney also was great on the mound yesterday, going 7 innings strong for the Lancers a day ago. He's the DH here today against Taylor. This one a fastball tails away in the opposite batter's box, 1-1. Haney struck out, swinging in the 1st, or in the 3rd, I should say. 2 outs and the base is clear. 1-1, launching it but pulling it. And that one will land, on, let's call it the 42-yard line, maybe the 38 of the Turner Stadium field behind us. 1-2, 2 outs to the DH Haney. Lefty versus righty as Carlson delivers, and let's paint the outside corner. Freezing Haney for strikeout number 6 on the afternoon for the freshman lefty. We head to the bottom of the 5th. Taylor still in front, 2-0 here on the Trojans Sports Network.
Your heart, well, your heart is everything to you and your body, and its favorite place to be is home. Marion General Hospital has been named a nationally accredited chest pain center, which is the highest accomplishment in cardiovascular care. We are proud to provide our community with a team of cardiac experts throughout MGH. From our ambulance and emergency room to our cardiovascular departments, in partnership with our experienced local cardiologists and interventional cardiologists from St. Vincent's Medical Group. The same level of cardiovascular expertise in bigger cities at larger hospitals is available right here. Everyone has their expertise, At MGH, our expertise is your heart, bringing the best in the nation home to you. Your heart is in the right place at MGH.
Two 2-0 Taylor lead as they get ready to bat here in the bottom of the fifth. 8, 9, and 1 coming up. The catcher, Ben Cowball, will lead it off. Christian McGill, the right fielder, to follow. And then the power-hitting shortstop, Josh Lane, after that. Schwartzentruber's curveball up high, ball one. The base coaches for Taylor. In his normal third base coaching spot is the 15th-year head coach, Kyle Gould. And over back at first, a nice change of pace. We get to see the Hall of Famer from Grant County in a numerous season here at Taylor. That is Rick Atkinson. Swinging a miss on a curveball lower this time by Cowball. 1-1 the count. Ben singled to left, his only time up today. On a payoff pitch. That was back in the second inning. Curveball here, hits it hard, left side, snagged off the turf by Enyart, the third baseman, on to first, and a good pick by Griffin, the first baseman, to retire Cowball to start things off here in the bottom of the fifth. And here's the right fielder, Christian McGill, for Taylor. Drove in 3 of the Trojans' 6 runs last night, including the 2 that capped off a 4-run bottom of the first, and the last one to cap off the top of the first, I should say. And then Taylor scored 2 in the top of the 7th last night. Finished off by the long sac fly and foul ground of the right field to the right field corner by McGill an evening ago. He swings and misses at the first one. Struck out swinging his first time up, facing Schwartzentruber. Curveball again, knee high, hits the outside corner, 0-2. 1 out as we are just underway here in the bottom of the fifth. Taylor leading 2-0 on a Taggart single and a Lane home run. Schwartzentruber out of the stretch, 0-2. This one way in the opposite batter's box. Curveball missing, 1-2. Lane waiting on deck. As Schwartzentruber peers in and gets the sign from Sapp. The pitch off the end of the bat, racing after it's Brooks, and he hops into the air, and right before he comes back down, he's able to make the catch. Looked like he might have jumped just a hair too early, but was able to hang in the air and haul in the soft pop fly for out number 2 in the 5th inning. Still a 2-0 Taylor advantage thanks to this guy right here. The shortstop, Josh Lane, who belted his 4th career home run on the very first pitch he saw to lead things off in the 3rd inning. All 4 of his home runs this season are the only home runs in his entire career. Schwartzentruber will throw this one low. Doesn't give Lane a chance to go back-to-back yard sauce on first pitches here. Lane 1 for 2 here so far in the game. Second one from Schwartzentruber. Bouncing in again, a good backhand stop by Sapp. It's 2-0. Both bullpens vacant. As we have 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Taylor on top, 2-0. Curveball above the letters. And now it's 3-0. As Lane tries to get on for the second time and as many times at the plate. And trying to give Ruschi an opportunity, who stands on deck, to move to 3-3 on the day. 4th one from Schwartzentruber. Curveball taken at the knees for a called strike by Josh Lane. Lane batting .251 on the season, went 0 for 4 last night as we mentioned, but got on via an error and scored the first run for Taylor back in the top of the 1st last night. And he'll get on here with a 2-out walk to keep the bottom of the 5th alive for the Trojans. First walk allowed by either starting pitcher tonight. After going 0 for 5 last night, Ruschi will dig in here for the 3rd time and try to go to 3-3 on the day against Schwartzentruber. Lane an above-average base stealer, but now walks back to first with the lefty Schwartzentruber peering in at home and now looking at Lane at first. Lane will head right down to second, ball away, pump faking and missing is Sapp. He had to pump fake as he tried to get out of the crouch and throw. Either his mask came loose, and that's what caused the delay, enough so that Lane slid in safe, then stood right up before the tag could be applied by his shortstop opposite, Ethan Brooks. First stolen base for Taylor of the game and of the tournament. And it's a ball to Ruschi here at the plate. And for Josh, that is his 9th stolen base of the season. He takes a healthy lead over there at second with 2 outs in the 5th inning. Ruschi upstairs from Schwartzentruber, the lefty, 2-0. Ruschi doubled and scored in the first, then singled after the Lane home run in the third, but then got doubled up at first base on a hit and run that ended things for Taylor in that 3rd inning. 3rd pitch of this at-bat. He'll swing and miss. And one tailing away from him, strike 1, as Lane hustles back to second. Schwartzentruber closing in on 80 pitches thrown as we have 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th, and Taylor leading 2-0, looking for more with Lane standing at second. 4th one to Ruschi. 2-1, drops into the outside corner. A good curveball from Schwartzentruber to even it up at 2-2. Nick, a 5'10 freshman from Greenfield, Indiana, graduate of New Palestine High School. Lefty versus lefty. Schwartzentruber delivers out of the stretch. The slapper to the left side. Brooks at short will field. Fire one to first. Griffin almost got handcuffed. Then able to turn the glove over and make the catch below his knees to keep Lane stranded at second. We're through 5 here from Winter Holder Field. It's Taylor 2, Grace nothing here in the 2019 Crossroads League Tournament on the Trojan Sports Network.
Play that old song. You really want her to play it. That's what's really going to open her. You got to have the music that the listeners listen to.
Gets their second hit, both in leadoff fashion, and a single here by Sapp. He's 1 for 2 tonight. And the courtesy runner comes in for the catcher. This will be Wyatt Busby, number 17. So Sapp gets on for the first time today. Now here's the left fielder, R.J. Snyder, number 1 in black. Carlson out of the stretch. Snyder's bunt, first base side, foul territory, snagged by Cowball, strike 1. Some activity beginning for Taylor in the bullpen. It looks to be number 13, Noah Huseman, the right-hander, getting loose. Carlson's pitch count, nothing really too high yet as we are a batter into the 6th. The next pitch for Luke will be his 57th here of the night. 2-0 Taylor lead with Grace batting here in the top half of the 6th. Runner goes, bunt shown. Pitch a ball here, by excellent throw. Lane's tag, a little pop out of his glove. It might have been in time, but the ball didn't make its way down to the base paths, and in there sliding safe is Sapp on a stolen base. It's ball 1 here at the plate to make it 1-1. So again, we see a very eerily similar start for Grace here in this, like they had in the 4th inning here in the 6th. A leadoff single and a stolen base, but Carlson was able to slow things down and retire the next 3 men in order for no damage done. 1-1 to the left fielder Snyder, who's 0 for 1 tonight. Bunt here. Carlson comes right in on a fastball, pirouetting away is Snyder for ball 2. As As Grace trying to play some small ball here and trying to move the runner over to third with nobody out here in the sixth and trailing 2-0. Luke leans in out of the stretch, looks back at the runner at second. That's Busby, a bunt right back up the middle. Carlson will field, turn over to first. Ruschi covers the throw, pulls him off the bag, and the runner will be safe. It'll be first and third for Grace with the tying runners on and nobody out here in this sixth inning as Carlson starts to show some signs of wear for the first time here today. A tough one there for Carlson on the sacrifice bunt from Snyder. As Cowball will come out from behind the plate and signal something to the Taylor infield. First time all day that Grace has gotten more than one runner on. They got one runner on in the fourth. He was stranded at second. A leadoff single by Sapp. Busby's coming to run for him. He steals second base. And then a sacrifice bunt from Snyder, a high throw with Taggart charging in from first to play the bunt. Ruschi, who is shorter than Taggart, was covering first, and Carlson's throw, a little bit high, pulls Ruschi off the bag, and scooting in safe was the 5'7" R.J. Snyder. Taylor head coach Kyle Gould comes in. He calls time and brings the whole Taylor infield in here. As Huseman, the righty, continues to warm up for Taylor in the bullpen down the right field line. A 2-0 deficit here for Grace. And they threaten here with the run 90 feet away and another one over at first. Busby, the 5'10" freshman. Pinch ran yesterday for Sapp. He does the same thing here. As Jeremy Hosier comes in, break up the mound meeting, and the Trojans will make a call to the bullpen. Looks to be the right-hander Noah Huseman as Luke Carlson's day has come to a close. Has been stellar so far, but 2 on here will be his responsibility. We'll introduce you to the new Taylor pitcher after this here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Greek's Pizzeria in Upland opened its doors in December of 2017. Over the years, there have been more than 140 Greeks opened across the country, with 24 Indiana locations. When it comes to pizza, Greeks offers customers the option to create their own pizza or to try one of Greek's specialized pizzas. Greeks uses fresh, homemade, hand-tossed dough, Greek's Italian sauce, select blended cheeses, gourmet toppings, and the same method of preparation since the first restaurant opened in 1969. The kitchen can also whip up a sandwich served on fresh French-style bread, or can put that sandwich into a pizza shell wrap. Customers can also add breadsticks or French-style bread as a side item. Greeks also offers a selection of salads and assorted dressings as well. Greeks is located just off Main Street in Upland and is a proud supporter of Taylor University Athletics. Greek's Pizzeria. It's our taste.
It is Noah Huseman, the red-bearded right-hander for the Trojans, 6'5", 205-pound sophomore. A 4-0 record on the year, a 2.81 ERA. And he comes in a tough spot here with 2 on at first and third and nobody out in the sixth. Taylor leading 2-0, and that's going to change as this one sent into left on a line drive by Anderson. Scores Busby from third, hustling around to second. Now the throw back to second base, and he's going to be out. No! That looked easily to be out number 1 as the tag came in from Ruschi, with our first base umpire Kyle George right on top of it, said he was safe. Anderson, the batter, looked to be out by a foot. And now Taylor head coach Kyle Gould comes out to argue. 1 run in for Grace. They've gotten their first run of the day. They now trail 2-1 and threaten here with runners standing at second and third as Taylor head coach Kyle Gould and the first base umpire Kyle George talk it over just to the right of second base. Anderson now 2 for 3 against Taylor pitchers here today. And after Grace went only 1 hit through the first 5 innings, they've gotten all 3 batters here on so far in the 6th. With nobody out, and they threaten to tie the game and take the lead with runners at second and third and nobody out for the second baseman, Sam Newkirk. Lane will back up at short. Taggart walks in a little bit at first, anticipating a bunt potentially here from Newkirk. Thought about it. Huseman's fastball on the inside half for a strike. Newkirk disagrees. It was Sapp who had the squeeze bunt yesterday to win it for Grace. We'll see if the Lancers want to go back to the drawing board or go back to the same thing here. With a tying run at third, the go-ahead run at second. Up the middle, off of Huseman's foot into the outfield. This will tie the game at 2, and scoring from second base will be Anderson. And Grace, just like that, after being quiet for the first 5 innings, they have nobody out here, and now the bench will be moved vehemently back to their dugout by home plate umpire Jeremy Hosier. But a 2-out or a no-out 2 RBI single from Newkirk, and just in the blink of an eye, Grace has gone in front 3-2. Still nobody out. As 2 runs charged to Carlson. This one to Huseman popped into the air. A bad bunt by Harris. An easy play by Huseman, the pitcher. And there's 1 gone as now the Trojans' right-hander Cole Barkas will jog to the bullpen to start to warm up. Newkirk at first after the 2 RBI single. And Harris retired on a bunt attempt. Here's the lefty Griffin. Nubs this one forward. Cowball fields in fair territory to first. A low one. Taggart unable to pick it. And Griffin will be called out. As Taggart got it, they'll throw this back to the infield. Griffin called out at first. Or are they going to say Griffin staying there at first and Newkirk standing at second, but they have called Griffin out here at first, it looks like. And one of the 2 interim head coaches for Grace, either Tom Roy or Ryan Roth, goes over to talk things over with first base umpire Kyle George, who has talked to both Taylor and Grace's head coaches here in this 6th inning so far. So it's going to be Griffin who's out, and going back to first base will be Newkirk on a violation of some sort here by the batter Griffin. And whatever the explanation is good for the Grace third base coach. And now he holds his hand up as some objections come from his dugout on the third base side. 3 runs in here for Grace. They've taken a 3-2 lead. And there are 2 outs with Newkirk still over there at first now. And ball 1 to Mitchell Enyart, the third baseman. Against Grace this season, Huseman, 1 inning, 1 hit, a walk and 2 strikeouts. But he's been touched up for 2 singles and a run scored here to his credit here. With 3 in the inning so far here for the Lancers, and they lead 3-2. Third one. Knee high, off speed, strike 1, 2-1. And you're 0 for 2 today, a ground out and a strikeout. 3 hits here in the inning and a Taylor error have led to the 3 runs for the Lancers, and they lead by 1. Huseman low, now 3-1. And you're 2 for 4 yesterday, batting .303. The 3-1 here. Good frame by Cowball to bring it down into the zone at the letters, and the count now is full, 3-2. 2 outs, Newkirk at first after his go-ahead 2 RBI single to make it a 3-2 Grace lead. The 3-2 here, runner goes, hit, snagged in the air by a jumping Brett Lawson at third, And 3 runs come home for Grace, but Lawson snags one out of the sky to prevent any more runs from coming home. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Taylor trailing for the first time today, down 3-2, as they'll bring up Bass, Taggart, and Whitman, 3, 4, and 5, here to try to get the lead back in the 6th.
Since opening in the late 1980s, the Maddox Family Dental Center has been focusing on providing the highest quality dental care for their patients. Children to adults can receive a full-service treatment to meet their dental needs. The Maddox Family Dental Center has 2 locations in Hartford City and Dunkirk and always welcomes new patients. The Maddox Family Dental Center, a proud corporate partner of Taylor University Athletics.
Taylor bats trailing for the first time today. They led 1-0 after the first on a Taggart single, 2-0 after the third on the Lane home run. But 3 runs on a pair of hits, on 3 hits I should say, and an error have given the Lancers of Grace a 3-2 lead as TJ Bass leads things off here in the bottom of the 6th against Logan Schwartzentruber. The second one, just like the first one, a curveball that's out of the zone, 2-0. Bass, a pair of hits last night, was the only Trojan, one of only 2 Trojans with multiple hits last night. No, he was the only man with 2 hits last night. He's hitless here today, 0 for 2. A curveball paints the outside corner from Schwartzentruber, and there's strike 1 to Bass. TJ popped out to Brooks, the shortstop, in the first, and then flew out to Anderson in center for the first out there in the third. He leads off the 6th. And Taylor down 3-2. We'll golf this one to right field. Going back is Harris. Sunglasses down. He comes forward, and he makes the grab for out number 1. Taylor 2 runs on 5 hits, but they've been hitless in the last 2 innings. They've only had 1 base runner on in the 4th and 5th. That was the 2-out walk by Lane. And the Trojans, Nathan Taggart trying to get on here for the second time today. Schwartzentruber keeps it away on a curveball, ball 1. There is a right-hander warming up for Grace in the bullpen, but since they don't have numbers on the front of their jerseys, we'll have to wait until he turns around to see who is getting loose in the pen for GC. The 1-0 to Taggart, painting the outside corner on a curveball to make it 1-1. Nathan 1 for 2 today. An RBI single in the first gave Taylor a 1-0 lead. He flew out to Harrison right back in the third, which eventually led to an inning-ending double play. Third one here. Outside corner, low, as Sapp tried to frame it, 2-1. Grace, the 8 seed, leads the 5 seed Taylor 3-2, with 1 out and nobody on for Taylor here in the 6th. 2-1 to Taggart. Dribbler up the middle, off the mound. Let's bounce that one into center field, and the Trojans have the tying runner on. Second hit of the night for Taggart, 2 hits away from tying the career hits mark. First hit for Taylor since the 3rd. Kyle Kelsheimer comes in to run for Taggart at first, and here's Wyatt Whitman, the center fielder, trying to move the speedy Kelsheimer around with 1 out here in the 6th. Second time we've seen Kelsheimer on the bases here. He ran for Cowball, the catcher, back in the 2nd. He runs for Taggart, the first baseman here. It'll be interesting to see how aggressive Taylor wants to be here with the lefty Schwartzentruber. A clean look over there at first where Kelsheimer stands right now. Big lead for Kyle at first, and Schwartzentruber will toss it over there to pay attention to him. Taylor's Cole Barkas has made his way back into the Taylor dugout after warming up in the bullpen for about the last half inning or so. 3-2 Taylor deficit. The tying run is at first in the form of Kyle Kelsheimer, one out in the sixth. Kyle goes, they throw it to first, then down to second. Kyle slides it, gets away from the shortstop Brooks. And now Kelsheimer will be safe at second as he looked to be dead to rights there at second base. Schwarzentuber threw it to Griffin and then it went away. Ticks off the glove of Brooks, the shortstop. And the speedy Kelsheimer is in there safe at second base. So I'll go down as a stolen base for Kelsheimer. And he has got electrifying wheels if Whitman can get a hit to the outfield here. Infield plays in with one out in the sixth. And Schwarzentuber keeping an eye on 23 and white as he pivots off the mound and stares Kyle back. Brooks, the shortstop, along with Newkirk, the second baseman, kind of bracketing Kelsheimer there at second as he dances. Here's the first one to Whitman, a curveball in the opposite batter's box, ball one. Big spot here as Taylor tries to tie the game at 3 in the bottom of the sixth as they saw their 2-0 lead evaporate in the top half of this inning. Kelsheimer dancing at second again, the second one here. Curveball low, Whitman goes ahead 2-0. Activity continues in the Grace bullpen. First time we've seen a man down there today for the visitors. Whitman 1 for 3 last night with an RBI and a big sacrifice hit. 2-0 here. Inside, now let's make it 3-0 with Lawson standing on deck for TU. That was the 90th pitch of the night for Schwarzentuber. With Lawson, who has been was the best batter against Grace in the regular season, next in line. Fourth one, way away, and thankfully for Schwarzentuber, Sapp slid out and snagged that in the opposite batter's box. 2 on with 1 out, with Taylor down 1, and here comes Tom Roy, one of the 2 interim co-head coaches for Grace. And just now, their pitcher in the bullpen has started to stand on the mound and start to throw. So a time called here as Roy comes in to talk things over with Schwarzentuber, the pitcher, and Sapp, the catcher. Looks like a number 30 of some sort. Oh, he turned around, number 32. That is Ike Peterson, the freshman from Cicero, Indiana, and a Hamilton Heights high school graduate. Now he turns around again for good measure. That's nice of him. Did it twice. First and second for TU. Second walk allowed by Schwarzentuber today. And the mound meeting comes to a close with Schwarzentuber, the lefty, still out there. It's Kelsheimer at second. He's the tying run with 1 out here in the sixth. Then Whitman is at first. He would be the go-ahead run, with Taylor down 3-2, trailing for the first time here today. The winner remains undefeated here in the Crossroads League Tournament and will play Marion at 4 o'clock on Monday. The loser of this game would play Monday at 1 o'clock against the winner of tonight's final game between Huntington and Indiana Wesleyan. 1 out, 2 on for Lawson. Creeping way in is Griffin at first. He's almost all the way, and they pick it off to second, and Kelsheimer gets back in time. Brooks came over all the way as an extra third baseman with Enyart. Griffin, he was in dangerous territory if Lawson could have swung away there, if the pitch would have come home, as Griffin was about 4 feet in front of the mound, just off to the right. He plays in here on the infield turf. First pitch to Lawson. Outside corner, a good curveball from Schwarzentuber, strike 1. Brett 0 for 2 today. A ground out and a strikeout in the second and fourth innings, respectively. 1 out in the sixth. Taylor down 1. Kelsheimer at second. Whitman at first. Lawson watches that one sail in low. Good block by Sapp. Count 1-1. Schwarzentuber closing in on 100 pitches thrown here today. The lefty against the slightly right-handed open batting stance of Brett Lawson. The third one to the Taylor third baseman. Curveball upstairs, 2-1. The DH, Andrew Kennedy, waits on deck. But a base hit here could tie the game at 3. With the excellent speed of Kelsheimer at second base. The 2-1. Lawson Pops it into the air, but not deep enough. Foul territory outside of third base. Catch made by Enyart for out 2. Second time that Taylor has been ahead in a count and then popped down in foul territory today. And the last time it happened was for the batter here at the plate, the DH Andrew Kennedy. Andrew was ahead 3-1 with nobody on in the 4th and then popped out to the first baseman and foul ground and Chris Griffin. He steps in here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Kelsheimer at second base, he would be the tying run. Whitman at first, he would be the go-ahead run. Swartzentruber's first one, a curveball in the opposite batter's box from the righty Kennedy, ball 1. Again, Ike Peterson, the righty, getting loose in the bullpen here for Grace College as they try to move on in the Crossroads League Tournament in the winner's bracket. Second one. Kennedy turns on it and sends it to left field. Going back is Snyder. He'll camp underneath of it and make the play as the Trojans leave the tying and go-ahead runner stranded at first and second base. We are through 6th, and Grace leads 3-2 over Taylor here on the Trojan Sports Network.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Another call to the bullpen here for the Trojans as we get ready to start the top half of the 7th. It is the quick-moving sophomore right-hander, Cole Barkus. A fastball and a swing and a miss from the shortstop Brooks. And our 7th inning is underway. Houston goes 1 inning, allows 2 hits. He's allowed the go-ahead run here right now for Grace, and he threw 11 pitches as time is called. Right before Cole goes into the windup. Cole, the 6'2", 200-pound sophomore from Woodburn, Indiana, and Black Hawk Christian High School just up there in Fort Wayne. Second one, moving fastball misses the outside corner to the righty Brooks, 1-1. The Taylor fans disagree with that call. Quickly working here, let's go back to the strike zone, and Barkus makes it 1-2 on a looking strike. Cole did not pitch against Grace during the regular season. He, like Taggart, had to sit out with injuries. Brooks wanting time now gets it. Barkus ready to rock and roll. A pop up to the outfield. Center fielder Whitman there, backpedaling in the mud out in center. 1 pitch or 1 batter and 1 out here in the 7th. With Grace in front, 3-2 here over 4-seed Taylor. Grace, the 8 seed. They walked off Huntington yesterday in extra innings. A squeeze bunt in the bottom of the 10th gave them a 5-4 win. And they've come back with 3 unanswered, all in the 6th, to take a 3-2 lead over Taylor. Ball 1 to the DH Haney. This one right back up. Barkus snags it. Takes a couple little pumps over to first, and he tosses it over there as Haney retired for the 3rd time today. 2 outs here in the 7th. Cole, a 1-2 overall record on the year. ERA just a tick below 5 as he appears in his 14th game of the year. But that injury, the upper body injury, really slowed things for him, I should say, in his sophomore season. Breaking ball, missing high and in to the catcher Sapp for a ball. The Taylor dugout disagrees. And the fans share their disagreement as well. Second one. Swing and a miss as Sapp misses on the outside corner, 1-1. Opponent's batting .300 off of Cole this season, and his normal protocol here for Cole, he peers over the mitt. He is ready to go right when that ball comes back to his mitt. 1-1. Liner left side. That'll split Lawson and Lane, and Sapp, his second single in as many at-bats. He rounds first. A 2-out single for Sapp will extend the top of the 7th here for Grace. So Sapp checks out, and the runner comes in and Busby once again, like he ran for him back in the 6th. If you're new to the NAI, that courtesy runner rule for the catchers and pitchers if they bat. No substitution penalty against either pitchers or catchers if they get on base safely. Left fielder is R.J. Snyder. Barkas out of the stretch, inside to the righty Snyder, ball 1. Snyder 0 for 2 today, but reached on the throwing error by Carlson in the 6th on the sac bunt attempt. That really kicked things into high gear for that 3-run 6th for Grace. Second pitch, away this time, 2-0. A 3-2 Grace lead with all 3 runs coming in the 6th. They had just 1 hit through the first 5 innings and then got 3 in 3 hits in the 6th alone. Snyder fooled there on an inside pitch, 2-1 on a swing and miss. A single here by Sapp. Busby runs for him over there at first base. Barkas peers in. 2 balls and a strike with 2 outs. Grace in front, 3-2 here in the 7th. Cole out of the stretch. The righty comes home. Away, a snag by the catcher Calball. The count now 3-1. Ground ball will do wonders here for the Trojans and get them out of this top of the 7th with no damage done. Pickoff attempt to first. Cole's got a great one. And almost able to pick off Busby there at first. He dives back in time. Cy Stanley, Tucker Wattups, 2 Taylor relievers jog down to the TU bullpen. 3-1 to Snyder. Runner stays at first. Snyder makes contact but fouls it off of his own shoulder on the bounce off of home plate, and the count now is full. We saw Cy get loose 3 or 4 times maybe last night, never ultimately coming in for TU. He's back down there getting loose again. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and Busby the man at first here in the top of the 7th with Grace in front by 1. Runner goes, ground ball up the middle. Lane will charge. He'll pick it. He'll throw to first. Taggart leans in, and there's out number 3. A 2-out single, no harm done. We will stretch it out and head to the bottom of the 7th with Taylor looking for an equalizer here, trailing Grace 3-2 on the Trojans Sports Network.
It's true. Many of us spend more time thinking about what's for dinner than thinking about retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, we agree, and we'd like to help. Your local Edward Jones financial advisors, Ryan Jones, Mark Sieglin, and Rob Sisson, can help you get started today. They are proud corporate partners of Taylor University Athletics. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Bottom of the 7th, 8-9-1 due up for the Trojans. Swartz and Trooper, the starter, still out there for Grace, and his curveball off the mark inside. 1-0 to Calball. Taylor down 3-2 as they bat here in the bottom of the 7th. Single runs in the 1st and 3rd. All 3 for Grace coming in that 6th inning. A line drive to left will drop in front of R.J. Snyder, and Ben Calbaugh leads off the bottom of the 7th with a single. That's his 2nd knock here of the afternoon. 7th one for TU, and now the Trojans will bring in Jonathan Foster to courtesy run for their catcher, Ben Calbaugh. Foster with excellent wheels. Was the starting center fielder an evening ago. And now here's the right fielder, Christian McGill. 7 hits for the Trojans. McGill looking for his first one after driving in 3 of Taylor's 6 runs an evening ago. Enyart, the third baseman, plays in, anticipating a bunt here potentially from McGill. Foster takes a step out of that lead. McGill shows bunt. In the air, first base side and foul. Strike 1 to the Taylor right fielder. And that was pitch number 100 for Logan Schwartzentruber tonight. And again, I can't tell you how many times we've seen guys try to lay bunts down and then they pop them into the air. We saw that happen for an out in the top half of that 7th inning for Grace. Enyart playing way in at third. McGill shows bunt here, not wasting any time. Schwartzentruber beautifully done on the bunt first base side. Griffin fields to first, and McGill will be out by just a half step by the hair on the unshaven face of Christian McGill. But he does the job. The sacrifice bunt moves Foster into scoring position. And now here's Josh Lane. His solo home run gave Taylor a 2-0 lead in the 3rd, and he led that inning off. And that was against Schwartzentruber, who's been the starter and remains out there for GC. Pitch number 1. Off speed at the letters for a called strike. Lane to fly out to center, the home run, and a walk. His 3 times at the plate today. The tying run is Foster at second, 1 out in the 7th. Second one to Lane. Turns on it, bouncing left side off the glove of Brooks. Foster will be waved around from second. No throw's going to come in, and Josh Lane has tied our game at 3 with 1 gone here in the 7th as Foster wheels around and scores from second base. Brooks, the shortstop, made a diving stab at it, and it went off the end of his glove and ricochets into left field. And Foster, running the whole way, scores. And we're tied at 3, and here comes Nick Ruschi with Lane the go-ahead run over there at first with 1 gone in the 7th inning. Lane has driven in 2 of the 3 Taylor runs today. Schwartzentruber against the lefty Ruschi, bouncing that one in. Sapp covers. He comes up, his mask goes flying away. And it's ball 1 to Ruschi. Nick 0 for 5 last night against Indiana Wesleyan stud Caleb Eater and the reliever Kyle Hall. Nick much better today, 2 for 2 with a run scored, including a double back in the 1st. Sits on one, pulls it to the right side. Lane will maneuver away, fielded by the second baseman Newkirk. He underhands the second, and Lane down there in scoring position at second base as he expertly avoided that bouncing ball. That hurt Goshen in the Marion game and the game before ours. They had runners on and a chance to either tie or take the lead against Marion in the game before ours, but the runner at first could not avoid that bouncing ball. It hit him. That ended the Goshen threat. They ended up losing to Marion. And now it's TJ Bass stepping in for Taylor. A hit to the outfield with 2 outs could give Taylor the lead. First one low, Schwartzentruber ball 1 as Sapp tried to frame it. Bass trying to get going, was the only Trojan with multiple hits last night. He is hitless here so far against Grace. 3-3 game here in the 7th. Lane the go-ahead run at second base. Schwartzentruber out of the stretch. Inside. Nicks the front corner. Inside to the righty Bass. 1-1. Bass, the best batting average for the Trojans when play starts today at .311. Schwartzentruber pivots away. There's nobody there. He holds onto the ball wisely as Lane goes diving back in. The closest man to Lane at second is the second baseman, Newkirk. Makes sense with the righty Bass at the plate. You want to keep Brooks in a good defensive position there at short. The 1-1 to Bass. Curveball into the air to center. Going back is Anderson, still going back now, has to move to his left. And he makes the catch, and the go-ahead run left stranded there at second base. But an RBI single from Lane ties our game at 3 as we head to the top half of the 8th inning here on the Trojan Sports Network with a pitching change coming for Taylor.
Ivanhoe's has been serving Taylor students since 1965 when Ivan and Carol Slane purchased the restaurant. Located on Main Street, Ivanhoe's is less than a mile from the Taylor campus and is open 7 days a week. The menu features choices for lunch, dinner, as well as 100 different milkshakes and sundaes. Customers can find other dessert items as well. The staff is proud to support Taylor University and appreciates the support of Ivanhoe's through the years.
Third call to the bullpen for the Trojans is the freshman lefty Cy Stanley out of Middletown, Indiana. He comes in with a perfect 6-0 record, and he was really, really good against Grace in the regular season. He faces the top of the order here in the 8th. Fastball, knee-high, outside half, strike one to the center fielder, David Anderson. Cy replaces Barkas, who won an inning back there in the 7th, allowed a hit, no runs, and 15 pitches. Second one, a flailing just something there by Anderson for strike two as he just started to swing and said, I might as well just keep swinging, and it's 0-2. Anderson, though, 2 for 3 with a pair of singles his last 2 times up. Hard hit left side, backhand stop. Nope, off the ricochet of the hand of Lane. He was right there, but it bounced up, and it goes off the shortstop Lane, and a runner on to start things here with Anderson, the center fielder. Second error against the Trojans tonight, and now the go-ahead run on to start things off after 2 good pitches by Stanley to start this 8th inning off. The batter will be the second baseman, Sam Newkirk, as Anderson exits and a pinch runner comes in for him over at first. Again, with no numbers on the front of those jerseys, we'll have to wait to figure out who that is. We know who is batting here. We see the back of that number 5 jersey of Sam Newkirk. The righty against the lefty Stanley. Lawson creeps in from third. Runner stays. Stanley away for a ball. A 2 RBI single for Newkirk his last time up, capped off that 3-run top of the 6th for Grace to give them a 3-2 lead. Newkirk shows bunt away off of first, but unable to throw it down there in time was Cowball. I think that is Brandon Scott over there at first, number 6. 2-0 to Newkirk here at the plate. Cy got one of the 3 wins against Grace this season. Newkirk again shows bunt into the air, first base side, but it'll land foul, too far for Taggart to give a go. Strike one to Newkirk. Sy went 4 1/3 innings, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, no hits, and no runs in the 14 batters he faced against Grace in the regular season to pick up one of the 3 Taylor wins as they swept the season series against the Lancers. 2-1 home, no bunt this time, and that one off speed at the knees, disagreeing with it as he leans back in disapproval as Newkirk. The Grace fans share his disappointment in the strike 2 call, and now it's 2-2. Scott at first, his gold chain glistening in the setting sun to our left as it hangs around his neck. 2-2, this one ripped into left. Bass slips. It'll land in front of him for a single. And now it's first and second here with nobody out as Bass had trouble with his footing there in that saturated outfield grass as he was standing in some mud. And just didn't get the normal push off that you would see Bass get in left. And that hit drops in, the 6th one of the night here for Grace. And now it's 2-on with nobody out in a 3-3 game here in the 8th for GC. Timely hitting here for Grace. And here comes one of the guys that got them the win yesterday. Pitch hitting will be Beach Harmon as he laid down a sacrifice bunt to move the runners up to 2nd and 3rd in that 10th inning yesterday. And here comes Taylor head coach Kyle Gould. And the Trojans will make another call to the bullpen and bring in a reliever. It'll be a right-hander. We'll introduce you to him when we come back as Stanley lasts just 2 batters here in this 8th inning. 2-on, nobody out in the 8th. Game tied at 3. We'll be back with more here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Your heart, well, your heart is everything to you and your body, and its favorite place to be is home. Marion General Hospital has been named a nationally accredited chest pain center, which is the highest accomplishment in cardiovascular care. We are proud to provide our community with a team of cardiac experts throughout MGH. From our ambulance and emergency room to our cardiovascular departments in partnership with our experienced local cardiologists and interventional cardiologists from St. Vincent's Medical Group. The same level of cardiovascular expertise in bigger cities at larger hospitals is available right here. Everyone has their expertise. At MGH, our expertise is your heart, bringing the best in the nation home to you. Your heart is in the right place at MGH.
The Taylor University campus store, with their innovative textbook butler delivery service and name brand Taylor apparel and gifts, supports the Trojans year-round. The campus store, powered by Tree of Life Books, is a proud corporate partner of TU Athletics. It's easy to find something to show off someone's TU pride with 2 campus locations, one in the Dome and one in the campus center near the food court. The store is also open 24/7 at TaylorCampusStore.com. Two batters is what Cy Stanley faces here in the 8th. An error on the ground ball by Lane at short, and then a single on a line drive by Newkirk. With Bass playing back, just missed his footing and couldn't drive forward to make the play. So the Trojans bring in the senior right-hander Clay Riggins, who threw just 23 pitches last night against Indiana Wesleyan, went 2/3 of an inning and allowed 2 hits. He faces the pinch hitter here in Beach Harmon, who sacrificed bunt last night in the 10th, moved runners to 2nd and 3rd before Grace walked it off against Huntington. Harmon shows bunt here as Rushi plays in from the second base spot on the right side of the infield. And it's a ball to Harmon. He bats in place of Xavier Harris, who's 0 for 3 today. Again, Harmon shows bunt, pulls it back for strike 1. Harmon on the year just 2 for 10, and the senior from Fort Wayne, Indiana. But again, he was the one who had the bunt that moved the runners up to second and third. He's got first and second here with nobody out in the 8th, game even at 3. Harmon shows bunt again. First base side, Ruschi charges. They'll try to get the lead out at third. They do. Back over to first. Not in time. Good thought there by Lawson. Better play by Ruschi. Still 2 on, but 1 out, and nobody over at third. Now running in for Harmon, they will re-enter Xavier Harris to rerun for Harmon. So it's Harris back over at first. Newkirk would be the go-ahead runner. He is at second. For the lefty, Chris Griffin, the first baseman, who's the best batter in the Grace order. The lefty bat against the right-handed throwing fifth-year senior Clay Riggins. 1 out in the 8th. Low, good cover by Calbaugh to keep it in front, ball 1. Griffin 0 for 3 tonight. His last time up was a weird one. He was called out by the time he got down to first, by the first base umpire Kyle George, for what we've determined up here in the press box as batter interference. 2 groundouts the other 2 times that Griffin's been up today. Breaking ball, snaps in there by Riggins, makes it 1-1. The other 2 times, as we mentioned, Griffin is grounded out to Ruschi, the second baseman. 1 out, first and second here for Grace in the 8th with the game even at 3. Riggins looks twice to the lead runner at second, kicks and deals out of the stretch. His breaking ball in there again on the hands of the lefty Griffin. It's 1-2. Taylor had 16 strikeouts yesterday. They have 6 so far, all from the starter Carlson. Riggins would love to change that here and add a strikeout to his. Short time on the hill right here. He peers in and gets the sign through the setting sun from Calbaugh, and then time is called by umpire Jeremy Hosier behind the dish. First and second for Grace, 1 out in the 8th. The game even at 3 runs aside. Riggins looks and deals home. Breaking ball high and away as Griffin sat back and watched it sail away to make it 2-2. Andrew Kennedy, the Taylor DH, starts to take some warm-up pitches over there in the bullpen. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the open lefty stance of Chris Griffin. 3-3 ball game in the 8th. And then time is called as they say Riggins took too much time. The 2-2. Outside corner, Calbaugh holds it, and it just misses for ball 3. Whew, close. Let's see what Riggins can dial up here on a 3-2 with Griffin. 2 on and 1 out in the 8th. 3-3 ball game. Riggins delivers home. Griffin inside will take it for ball 4 as he thought about swinging, but then thought better of it. Bases full for the third baseman, Mitchell Enyart. After Taylor walked 9 batters last night, there's their first free pass issued here today. Bases full of Lancers for the third baseman, Enyart, with 1 out as the infield plays in slightly. Enyart off the end of the bat. That one goes foul to the right. Enyart 0 for 3. His last time up, smoked one Lawson's way at third, and Brett leapt into the air and ripped it out of the sky. Newkirk, Harris, Griffin, the runners out there for Grace. 3-3 game in the 8th. 0-1, misses inside, 1-1. That zone starting to get a little bit tighter here with 1 gone in the 8th. 6 hits for Grace, 8 for TU. And no extra base hits so far for GC tonight. 1-1, curveball, missing above the letters, 2-1. Both fan bases starting to get a little restless here with the bases full. 1 gone in the 8th, the 2-1 home. Swing and a miss at 1 upstairs by Enyart, and the count levels 2-2. Big pitch here. 2 balls and 2 strikes. As McGill, the right fielder, will move in slightly. Same thing for Whitman in center. Riggins sets. The 2-2 home. Off the end of the bat, Ruschi will go over his head. Grace will go in front. 1 run home. They'll wave Harris around from second. The throw comes in, cut off by Lane. And it's a 2 RBI single for the third baseman, Mitchell Enyart. And Grace back in front, 5-3. Here with runners at now first and third and 1 gone in the 8th inning. And again, Jeremy Hosier, our home plate umpire, has to move the Grace dugout back into their dugout to the left. And here comes Andrew Kennedy in for the Trojans. He'll be the 6th different pitcher on the hill as Taylor tries to keep the damage to just 2 on the 2 RBI single from Enyart, his first hit here today.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Play that old song! You really want her to play it. That's what's really going to evoke the memory. You got to have the music that you listeners listen to.
A 2 RBI single by Mitchell Enyart with the bases loaded has given Grace a 5-3 lead here with 1 out and now runners at the corners in the 8th. Taylor will move Andrew Kennedy out from the DH spot and into pitch. He faces Ethan Brooks, the shortstop. And the first pitch is high and away for a ball. Andrew 3-0 on the year, a 3.79 ERA in 19 innings and 11 appearances. Second one. Off speed, a big swing and a miss by Brooks, 1-1. Brooks 0 for 3 with 2 ground outs and a fly out tonight. Second time tonight he's been the first batter that a Taylor pitcher has faced. Here's the third one from Kennedy. Off speed, a pop-up to right field. McGill coming in, still racing in. Shallow right field, a play made. Thinking about tagging and scoring, but McGill uncorks a rifle. And that will keep Griffin at third base. 2 outs here on the fly out to McGill and right. And here's the DH, Houston Haney. 2 outs, 2 on, first and third. It's Griffin, the first baseman, after a walk. He stands at first base. And Enyart Griffin to third base, I should say. And Enyart, his first hit of the night. A 2 RBI single to give Grace a 5-3 lead. Kennedy, the righty, out of the stretch. Off speed and a swing and a miss low from Haney. Haney 0 for 3 today, 2 strikeouts, both against the starter Carlson. Then he grounded out to Barkas back in the 7th. Second one. Haney backs again, swings and misses as he steps out. It's 0-2. As Kennedy has gone off speed on every pitch he's thrown. First the 3 to Brooks, and now the 2 so far to Haney. 0-2, 2 outs. Runners at the corners. Grace in front by 2 here in the 8th. Kennedy nods, the 0-2 home. Outside and taking the whole way is Haney, ball 1. A strikeout or a ground ball out would be monumental here for Taylor. 1-2. Haney to Ruschi at second. Fields whips it to second. Lane steps on the bag to get the man out there. But a bases-loaded 2 RBI single by Enyart has given Grace a two-run lead again. For the first time today, they're ahead 5-3. We head to the bottom of the 8th here for the Trojans.
Greek's Pizzeria in Upland opened its doors in December of 2017. Over the years, there have been more than 140 Greeks opened across the country, with 24 Indiana locations. When it comes to pizza, Greeks offers customers the option to create their own pizza or to try one of Greek's specialized pizzas. Greeks uses fresh, homemade, hand-tossed dough, Greek's Italian sauce, select blended cheeses, gourmet toppings, and the same method of preparation since the first restaurant opened in 1969. The kitchen can also whip up a sandwich served on fresh French-style bread, or it can put that sandwich into a pizza shell wrap. Customers can also add breadsticks or French-style bread as a side item. Greeks also offers a selection of salads and assorted dressings as well. Greeks is located just off Main Street in Upland and is a proud supporter of Taylor University Athletics. Greek's Pizzeria, it's our taste.
Heart of the order up here for Taylor in the bottom of the 8th. Nathan Taggart will be followed by Wyatt Whitman and Brett Lawson. With the starter Logan Schwartzentruber still out there, he has thrown 108 pitches here so far tonight. Taggart with a pair of Taylor's 8 hits so far this evening. Schwartzentruber's curveball upstairs, ball 1. A 2 RBI single with the bases full by the third baseman of Grace Enyart in the top half of this inning has broken our 3-all tie. Ball 1, now ball 2 on 2 curveballs up high for the Taggarts. An RBI single for Nathan his first time up. He singled back in the 6th. He's now 2 hits away from tying the career hits mark here at Taylor. Nobody up in the Grace bullpen. And then Schwartzentruber misses low this time. It's 3-0. Bottom of the 8th. And our second game out of the winner's bracket here today on a Saturday afternoon now turning into evening. 3-0 from Schwartzentruber. A get-me-over pitch that paints the outside corner for strike 1. Taylor with 8 hits on the evening. 2 for extra bases, a double and a home run. They're down 2 here. 3-1. Upstairs for ball 4 and a leadoff walk puts Taggart at first. Third walk allowed by Schwartzentruber here tonight. And here comes their pitching coach, Ryan Roth, who's in his second season at Grace. Going into the season, Grace had the pitching staff thought that would be their strength this season. As they return 8 of the top 9 arms from a year ago, as Schwartzentruber gets a standing ovation from the Grace crowd as they will make a couple defensive shifts here. We'll introduce you to the new pitcher who is moving in from the defensive set here for the Lancers. We'll talk about him when we come back here on the Trojan Sports Network.
It's true. Many of us spend more time thinking about what's for dinner than thinking about retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, we agree, and we'd like to help. Your local Edward Jones financial advisors, Ryan Jones, Mark Sieglin, and Rob Sisson, can help you get started today. They are proud corporate partners of Taylor University Athletics. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
David Anderson will come in here. He moves in from center field, replaced by Jaron Mullett, who takes over in center. Harris remains in right. Snyder remains in left. Anderson making just his third appearance this season in relief. His 10th appearance overall, a 3-4 overall record, and a 5.87 ERA. The first man he faces is Wyatt Whitman, and this one is low for a ball. A leadoff walk has put Taggart over at first. As Anderson comes in for the stellar starter today, Logan Schwartzentruber, who went 7 innings, 113 pitches, and 3 runs allowed. Second one. Curveball at the letters. Whitman will take it for strike one to make it 1-1. Anderson got the start against Taylor this season. What lasted just 3 innings, Taylor touched him up for 9 hits and 8 runs, including 4 for extra bases. Anderson misses away here. It's now 2-1. Whitman the tying run here at the plate in the bottom of the 8th inning. Taylor down 5-3. White has reached base safely once tonight on a walk. Curveball in there for a strike at the belt outside corner. 2-2. We'll see if Anderson wants to go back to that curveball. That's how he's got his 2 strikes here in the at-bat so far. Lawson stands on deck. Nobody out in the bottom of the 8th. Anderson out of the stretch, deals home. A fastball that Whitman will sky into the air, right field side. It might land foul by a foot. Harris was playing well off the right field line. If that's a 3 feet to the left. Taggart still running, Whitman still running, and we kind of will wait and see where everybody ends up. As Wyatt takes a long walk back to the batter's box here. Oh for 2 tonight with that walk, as we mentioned, his last time up. Taylor trying to battle back from their second deficit tonight. They had tied the game at 3 after leading 2-0. They're down 5-3 here. 2-2 again. Whitman will send this one to the gap, into the air. Harris is there, and he makes the play for out number 1. Taggart retreats back to first. And now here's the third baseman, Brett Lawson. Brett was a thorn in the side of Grace pitching in the regular season, going 7 for 11 in the 3-game series. He's 0 for 3 here tonight. With Taylor down by 2 in the bottom of the 8th. The winner of this game remains undefeated in the league tournament and will play Monday at 4. Fastball, outside half, strike 1 to Lawson. The winner will play Marion at 4. The loser will play 1 o'clock on Monday against the winner of our finale tonight. Lawson off the end of the bat. This one will slice foul out of play to the right. No balls and 2 strikes. Taggart at first after a leadoff walk. He was the last man to face the starter, Logan Schwartzentruber. And then David Anderson on the hill now. 5'10 junior out of Mars, Pennsylvania. Opponents batting .327 against him this season. As we mentioned, he makes just his 3rd relief appearance here in 2019. An all Crossroads League honorable mention selection last year as a pitcher. 0-2 to Lawson. Curveball, and Brett swings and misses. 2 outs for Taylor on Anderson's first strikeout. He's retired the first 2 men he's seen here in this bottom of the 8th. And the pitcher, Andrew Kennedy, will try to keep the bottom of the 8th hopes alive for TU. Kennedy with plenty of pop. He's flown out 3 times tonight. And Taylor could really use a hard hit from 6 and White right now. First one low as Sapp tried to frame it back up in there. It's ball 1. Flyouts to center and left for Andrew tonight. He popped out in foul territory on one he'd like back to the first baseman, Chris Griffin, when he was ahead 3-1. Second one, curveball loops away from the righty Anderson, 2-0. Taylor down 5-3 with a runner at first and 2 outs in the bottom half of the 8th. Third one from Anderson. A pop up to shallow right. Harris slips. Will he have enough time to get back and make the play? He does. And Taylor leaves another runner stranded here. They've left 6 stranded, and we head to the 9th with Grace in front of Taylor 5-3 here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Since opening in the late 1980s, the Maddox Family Dental Center has been focusing on providing the highest quality dental care for their patients. Children to adults can receive a full-service treatment to meet their dental needs. The Maddox Family Dental Center has 2 locations in Hartford City and Dunkirk and always welcomes new patients. The Maddox Family Dental Center, a proud corporate partner of Taylor University Athletics.
First full inning of work for Andrew Kennedy. It's the top of the 9th. 8-9-1 coming up for Grace as they try to build on their 5-3 lead. Breaking ball away off the plate, ball 1. It's Jacob Sapp, who struck out swinging his first time up, tonight, then has singled his last 2 times at the plate in the 6th and the 7th. First one a ball, the second one is inside for ball 2. 7 hits on the night here for Grace. None have been for extra bases. And they lead 5-3. This one a blooper left side, Lane ranging back, and then he hops in the air and rips it down for out number 1. A pitcher's best friend is an all-star shortstop, and Lane is that. 1 gone in the 9th. The former Gold Glove Award winner during his freshman season of 2016 when he was at second base. Adds another highlight reel play to his shortstop festivities here. Here's R.J. Snyder. He chases one at his eyes and misses for strike 1. Second one, Snyder goes around for strike 2. Snyder 0 for 3. He reached on a throwing error by the then pitcher Luke Carlson in that 6th inning when Grace scored 3 of their first 5 runs to take a 3-2 lead. They've now snapped another tie. They lead 5-3 here. Snyder slaps at this one, just stays alive, getting just the very end of his bat on that breaking ball from Kennedy as it almost spun Snyder around. Still 0-2. Kennedy into the windup. The righty delivers home. Snyder leans out of the way. That one on the hands. Ball 1. This is game 2 out of the winner's bracket. Marion won game 1 over Goshen. 1-2. Snyder slaps it to the left side. Lane will charge from short. Scoop over to first. Taggart will not be able to make the play as it goes to the chain link fence. Snyder wheeling into second base. Cowball picks it up. Snyder looks over his shoulder, checks where the ball is, and he's in there at second on the throwing error by the Trojans. That's their 3rd fielding miscue here tonight. And the top of the 9th continues here for Grace with 1 out and a runner in scoring position. A tough play for Lane to make there at short as he had to scoop that one on a dead run. Then had to whip it over to first. It's a little bit too low for Kennedy or for Taggart to pick it. And the speedy Snyder stands at second base with 1 out, and the lineup turns over to the top and David Anderson. Taylor cleaned last night. Just 1 error. Now they'll intentionally walk the pitcher Anderson to bring the conventional double play back into effect. And now here's Newkirk, the second baseman. But before we get all to that, the courtesy runner comes in for the new pitcher, Anderson. This will be Busby, 17 in black. Two on, one out, top of the ninth. A 5-3 Grace advantage. The speedy Snyder, the sophomore, stands at second base. Busby, the freshman, is at first. The righty bat of Newkirk is here at the plate with one out. Thought about it, thought better of it. Taylor appeals, and it's called for a ball. Newkirk flew out his first 2 times up tonight. Since then, he has singled home 2 runs in the 6th, and he singled and scored in the 8th. As Newkirk was 1 for 2 last night with a double in the win over Huntington. The 1-0. Newkirk fouls it back to even it up at 1-1. During the regular season, Newkirk 0 for 8 in the 3 games against Taylor, did drive in a run. So his best outing here against Taylor, pitching right here, as he's 2 for 4. The third one from Kennedy out of the stretch. Breaking ball, a little slapper into center. Whitman comes in, makes the catch on the jog for out number 2. And the runners remain at first and second. 2 outs in the 9th, and Gray still in front, 5-3. Two outs and 2 on for the right fielder, Xavier Harris, who slipped but got back to his feet and made a catch in right field. To end a Taylor threat in the 8th. Calls for time and gets it from Jeremy Hosier, the home plate umpire. Harris 0 for 3 tonight with 2 strikeouts and a bunt. On a fly, on a pop out to the pitcher. Breaking ball, Kennedy away, ball 1. Harris was pinch hit for by Harmon, who tried to sacrifice his way on a fielder's choice. And then Harris came in and ran and then scored the second of 2 runs on that RBI single by Enyart to break our 3-all tie in the 8th. Hard hit left side, will bounce on through. They'll wave Snyder around from second. Bass will come up throwing. The throw won't be in time. Lawson will have it bounce away, first and third, and Grace has extended their lead to 6-3 here with 2 outs in the 9th. On the first hit of the afternoon for Xavier Harris. So Busby advances to third on the Harris hit, and now here's Chris Griffin, who's still in search of his first hit here of the tournament. Taylor talking things over in the dugout. And here comes the catcher, Ben Cowball, to signal to the defense from behind home plate. A 6-3 Grace lead on their 9th hit here of the evening. And again, none have gone for extra bases here against TU pitching. First one to Griffin, knee-high strike on the outside half. Griffin 2 ground outs to Rushi. A batter's interference was how he was retired in the 6th. He walked in the 8th. And the second pitch here, the 9th, makes it 1-1 away from the lefty Griffin, who leads Grace in batting with a .345 average. It was hitless yesterday against Huntington, going 0 for 4 with a walk. He's 0 for 3 tonight with a walk here. Taylor could really use him duplicating an 0 for 4 performance here right now. Inside, covered up by Cowball, 2-1, as Griffin extends that right hand to hold the runners where they are. A 6-3 lead here for Grace. They've scored 3 unanswered. 2 in the 8th, 1 here so far in the 9th. 2 outs and men at the corners. The 2-1 pitch. Griffin watches it sail in there for a strike. 2-2. Kennedy leans in, gets the sign from Cowball. The 2-2 with 2 outs. Griffin fouls it back to the net as folks go diving for cover with a protective net in front of them. Open stance for the lefty Griffin. The righty Kennedy sets. Out of the stretch, it comes home. Griffin a little slapper to the left side. Bass comes in, dives and makes the catch in left field to limit the damage to just one here in the ninth. Taylor down 6-3, heading to the bottom of the ninth. They'll send up Cowball, McGill, and Lane, needing 3 for extras and 4 for the win.
Your heart, well, your heart is everything to you and your body, and its favorite place to be is home. Marion General Hospital has been named a nationally accredited chest pain center, which is the highest accomplishment in cardiovascular care. We are proud to provide our community with a team of cardiac experts throughout MGH. From our ambulance and emergency room to our cardiovascular departments in partnership with our experienced local cardiologists and interventional cardiologists from St. Vincent's Medical Group. The same level of cardiovascular expertise in bigger cities at larger hospitals is available right here. Everyone has their expertise. At MGH, our expertise is your heart, bringing the best in the nation home to you. Your heart is in the right place at MGH.
Bottom of the ninth, Cowball, McGill, Lane, the ones that are set to come up here, but we'll change that with Brian Fields standing on deck. He will pinch hit for Christian McGill. Taylor down 6-3 as Grace has scored 3 unanswered after Taylor tied it in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, and 1 in the 9th here for GC. David Anderson's first inning of work, a curveball missing the outside corner to the big righty Cowball, ball 1. Been 2 for 3 out of the 8 spot tonight with a pair of singles. Second one from Anderson. Outside corner, this one framed well by Sapp for strike 1, 1-1. Anderson had 5.87 ERA, a .327 opponent batting average, but trying to get the save here, 1-1. Off the end of the bat, a blooper to right field. Will it drop in grass? No, because Harris comes diving in head first and takes a hit away from Cowball. 1 out as Harris thieves and steals a hit away from TU. Nicely done by Harrison Wright. So the pinch hitter Brian Fields will make his first appearance here of the Crossroads League Tournament. He played the hero to beat Indiana Wesleyan here in the regular season with a 3-run tying home run and a walk-off hit in the bottom of the 7th. Taylor just needs him to get on base here. Down 3 in the 9th with 1 out. First one from Anderson, a fastball inside. Brian takes for a strike. Brian, a .222 average, second on the team with 4 home runs and 17 driven in. The second one, a curveball up high, misses its mark, 1-1. Sapp has done a really nice job of framing pitches tonight. First for the starter, Schwartzentruber, who was great over 7 innings and 113 pitches, and doing the same thing here for the reliever Anderson. Third one, missing away, barely, 2-1. It's been a tight zone tonight by home plate umpire Jeremy Hoser, and he has not flinched from that here in the late stages of our contest. The 2-1. Curveball, and he gets Brian to swing and miss for strike 2. Taylor had 5 hits and 2 runs in the first 3 innings, then went hitless over the 4th and 5th. They've scratched out just 3 hits since and 1 run. The 2-2. Belt high, freezes Fields for a called strike 3, and Taylor's down to their last out here in the bottom of the 9th. The 8 seed Grays trying to knock off another higher seeded team here. They walked off number 1 seed Huntington yesterday, and they try to defeat number 5 seed Taylor here, with Josh Lane, the shortstop, the man standing in the way of that. Lane 2 for 3 tonight. He has driven in 2 of Taylor's 3 runs. Anderson peers in out of the stretch. Bases clear, 2 outs in the 9th. Taylor down 3. A first pitch curveball taken by Lane for a strike. Lane solo homer in the third on the first pitch of that inning to give Taylor a 2-0 lead. An RBI single in the seventh tied the game at 3. Taylor has been scoreless since. Second one from Anderson. Lane slaps at it, sends it out of play to the parking lot to the right. And now Taylor and Lane are down to their last strike here in the bottom of the ninth. Phones out for the Grace parents and fans to our left. Lane down 0-2. 2 outs, nobody on in the ninth for Taylor down 6-3. Anderson delivers, Lane slaps it. That one will tail out of here, foul to the right. Both teams will play on Monday. The question will be when. The winner of this game plays at 4. The teams who loses season in the balance at 1 Monday. 0-2 after the foul ball. Way away from Anderson, 1-2. A ball and 2 strikes to Lane. Anderson delivers. Lane pops it up. That one over our heads here in the press box. It remains 1-2. Two outs in the ninth. Taylor down 6-3 to 8-seed Grace. Anderson leans in. The righty out of the stretch. Deals home. A curveball high and away, way off the mark. It's now 2-2. Eight hits for Taylor on the night. They have the only 2 extra base hits this evening. And they need Lane on here, down 3 in the ninth with 2 outs. 2-2 from Anderson. Curveball, outside corner, misses by a hair, and now the count is full. That is one tight zone from Jeremy Hosier, our home plate umpire. Ruschi stands on deck if Lane can get on safely here. The payoff from Anderson. Lane, slapper to the right side. Harris comes in from right. He's underneath and makes the catch. And Grace remains undefeated here in the Crossroads League Tournament, coming back from a 2-0 deficit. And coming back from a 3-3 tie to win today, 5-3. They will take on Marion Monday at 4. The Trojans will play at 1 o'clock on Monday. They will play the winner of our nightcap tonight between Huntington and Indiana Wesleyan. We'll take a break and come back for the Ivanhoe's postgame show after this here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Your heart, well, your heart is everything to you and your body, and its favorite place to be is home. Marion General Hospital has been named a nationally accredited chest pain center, which is the highest accomplishment in cardiovascular care. We are proud to provide our community with a team of cardiac experts throughout MGH. From our ambulance and emergency room to our cardiovascular departments in partnership with our experienced local cardiologists and interventional cardiologists from St. Vincent's Medical Group. The same level of cardiovascular expertise in bigger cities at larger hospitals is available right here. Everyone has their expertise. At MGH, our expertise is your heart, bringing the best in the nation home to you. Your heart is in the right place at MGH.
Ivanhoe's has been serving Taylor students since 1965, when Ivan and Carol Slane purchased the restaurant. Located on Main Street, Ivanhoe's is less than a mile from the Taylor campus and is open 7 days a week. The menu features choices for lunch, dinner, as well as 100 different milkshakes and sundaes. Customers can find other dessert items as well. The staff is proud to support Taylor University and appreciates the support of Ivanhoe's through the years.
Back here on the Ivanhoe's postgame show, Rick Johnston now joined by the head coach of the Trojans, Kyle Gould, as Taylor falls 6-3 here to Grace. What did Grace change there in those late innings after Carlson was so dominant through the first 3 and change?
Well, they did a really good job taking advantage of a lot of mistakes. You know, the inning when they got their first 3, we have a guy thrown out. We mishandle the ball at second base. Don't make the play on the bunt. And then on the hit, I think he was out at second, but we threw the ball to the wrong base. So it was like 4 straight plays, and then you just give them life. And if we're just, kind of solid defensively, I think that probably holds them off there a little bit. Luke threw great. And then we just, then once they got going a little bit, they swung the bats a little bit. And, offensively, we just couldn't get any good bats.
You guys look ahead now to Monday. You'll play at 1 o'clock. How important is this day off tomorrow on Sunday to kind of let everybody regroup after a tough game here today?
Well, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think it gives everyone an extra day. I just think you're going from being in the driver's seat to now all of a sudden saying, like, all right, we got to come back and win 5 games in 3 days. And that's tough. I mean, I guess you just got to come out and play the first one and hope some guys get going or something. And it's just, honestly, Rick, like the last 2 days is just kind of how our season's gone. There's been periods of, like, really good. And then, I think some of the games we lost early were to pitchers similar to what we saw today, just soft from the left side, and we just have been unable to adjust and do it. And there's times you come out and make, like last night, just make big plays in big spots, big pitches in big spots, and there's other times where we just can't seem to get going. And I don't think it's based on, good teams, bad teams, or anything. I think it's just, unfortunately, the way it's gone. And, we had some guys with some, last night we had guys with some tough at-bats early, and they hung in there, gave us some really good ones late. Tonight, guys who had tough at-bats early just didn't give us anything later, and we had chances in there. And so, yeah, it's frustrating.
Kyle, thanks for the time. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Thanks, Rick.
That is the Taylor head coach, Kyle Gould, joining us here on the Ivanhoe's post-game show. Taking the loss tonight is Cy Stanley, as he gave up that 4th run. He's only faced 2 batters there in the 8th, as Taylor tries to do their best to hold on to as many pitchers as possible. They threw 6 guys today. Carlson threw the most pitches at 59. Huseman 11, Barkas 15, Stanley 8, Riggins 14 on his second day in a row, and Kennedy finished throwing 25 tonight. So the Trojans should, in essence, on Monday be able to go back to Huseman, Barkas, and Stanley when they play on Monday at 1. 6 runs on 9 hits, no errors, and 7 stranded for Grace. 3 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors, and 6 left on the base paths for Taylor here tonight. They jumped out to a 1-0 lead after a Ruschi double and a Taggart single to score him in the first, and then Lane belted his 4th home run of the year to give Taylor a 2-0 lead on the very first pitch in the bottom of the 3rd. Carlson was great, as we mentioned. He was perfect through the first 3. He retired the first 9 batters he faced. He gave up a single to lead off the 4th. Then he retired the next 3 guys in order, had a 1-2-3 5th, and then things started to unwind there in the 6th. A leadoff single from Sapp, a fielding error on the throwing error on Carlson on a bunt attempt, moved everybody up to 2nd and 3rd. A single by Anderson scored the first run of the day for Grace, and then Newkirk tied the game on a 2 RBI single 1 batter later. The Trojans would tie the game in the 7th on an RBI hit from Josh Lane at 3, but then Grace came right back with 2 more at the top of the 8th. They added 1 more in the 9th, and then Taylor was retired in order 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, and 1. Down in order there in the 9th. As Logan Schwarzentuber picks up his first win of the season, he's now 1-5 for Grace. He went 7 innings, got the start, 8 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts on 113 pitches for the lefty. And then David Anderson came in. He gets the save, dealing the last 2 innings, no hits, as he retired all 6 batters that he faced tonight. As we mentioned, Stanley takes the loss. The Trojans, with the loss, fall to 36-17 on the year. Grace improves to 16-25, and they have a date with Marion on Monday at 4 for a bid in the championship game on Tuesday. The Trojans will wait to find out who their opponent is after our nightcap tonight. Number 1 seed Huntington will take on 4 seed Indiana Wesleyan. The losers' season is over. The winner will play Taylor on Monday at 1. We say a special thank you to Emily Daniels, our producer on site, and as always, the executive producer of the Trojan Sports Network is Cameron Andry. This has been a presentation of Taylor Baseball and the 2019 Crossroads League Baseball Tournament. We'll come back with coverage of Indiana Wesleyan and Huntington to wrap up Day 2 of the 2019 Crossroads League Baseball Tournament momentarily. For now, we'll talk to you on Monday. For now, we say goodnight from Upland, Indiana.